Following this morning's Epstein bombshell about leaks of private emails between Jeffrey Epstein and his accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell, in which they implicate Donald Trump directly in knowledge of Epstein's crimes, if not actual participation in them, Donald Trump orchestrated an emergency White House meeting to try to handle this crisis, which also included Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, who was a key vote on forcing the release of the Epstein files, which just took a massive step closer to reality with the swearing in of the 218th signature in the discharge petition that would make it a reality. So Trump is panicking, and there have been other moves by Republicans in the White House today to try to dull the sting. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, as ABC News reports, top administration officials met with Boebert about House vote on release of Epstein files. Officials wanted Boebert to drop her support for their release, sources said. So let's take a look. Top administration officials met with Representative Lauren Boebert Wednesday morning about the effort to force a House vote on the release of the Justice Department's Epstein files, multiple sources told ABC News. The meeting with top White House and Justice Department officials was part of an effort to get Boebert to remove her name from the petition to release the files, the sources said. It came just hours before Speaker Mike Johnson was to swear in Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva, who has said she intends to add the final signature to that petition to force a vote on the release of the Epstein files. Attorney General Pam Bondi, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, and FBI Director Kash Patel were among those present for the meeting, which occurred at the White House, the sources said. I want to stop right there. So what that tells us is because this is a politically inconvenient problem for Donald Trump, that he is arranging for the participation of the three highest ranking and most important members of the Trump Justice Department. The Justice Department's supposed to be an apolitical branch, a non-political branch. They have nothing to do. They're not supposed to be Trump's personal fixers. And yet here they are doing exactly that, meeting with a member of an entirely different branch of government to try to resolve a political problem for the sitting president. Corruption and a breach of norms, the likes of which we've simply not seen in decades. It wasn't immediately clear following the meeting whether Boebert had decided to remove her name, the sources said. Boebert is among 4 Republicans who have signed on to the petition. The others are Representatives Thomas Massie, Nancy Mace, and Marjorie Taylor Greene. The White House and Boebert's office did not immediately respond to a request for comment. And while we're talking here, because we're going to look at the initial CNN reporting on this, which presaged this meeting. They were the ones who got the initial exclusive reporting on this, and then ABC confirmed that it had already happened. I am curious. I want to see if there's been any update on Boebert. If there's panic sets in, yeah. So as of this moment, it doesn't look like she's gone public with any sort of intent to remove her name from the Epstein files discharge petition. But please understand that by the time you see this video, that may very well have changed. It's just not the case, at least at the time of this recording. So let's look into the earlier reporting, which again talked about how that meeting would occur. Exclusive, Trump administration plans meeting over House effort to release all of the Epstein files votes. Top administration officials were planning to meet Wednesday about an effort in the U.S. House to force a vote on releasing Justice Department case files related to Epstein. One of the sources said the planned meeting would include Pam Bondi, Todd Blanche, FBI Director Kash Patel, Lauren Boebert, who wanted the Justice Department to release the trove of Epstein files. CNN has not confirmed if the meeting has taken place, but again, ABC has confirmed that it did. A spokesperson for the Justice Department declined to comment. The White House did not immediately return for request to comment. CNN has reached out to Boebert's office. Still, the intention of a meeting underscores the Trump administration's concerns about the Epstein saga, which roared back Wednesday morning when the House Oversight Committee released more documents it obtained from the Epstein's estate. And we'll get to that because after the House Democrats released these very sinister emails between Ghislaine Maxwell and Donald Trump Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein, and Michael Wolff, the author, implicating Trump in knowledge. Then House Republicans, then they wanted to release a lot more of the Epstein file. Okay, here's 20,000 more Epstein files documents. Like, okay, what are you trying to bury there? The Justice Department files, which capture years of investigation into a child sex trafficking ring, could include details the House hasn't obtained. So again, really interesting. Trump hasn't been accused of any crime, and longtime Epstein contact and convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell previously told Blanche in an interview this summer she'd seen no wrongdoing. On Capitol Hill, 3 Republican House members, Boebert, Green, Nancy Mace, have signed on to an effort from Massey and Ro Khanna to force a vote on the Epstein files. Bondi was seen leaving the White House at 1:10 Eastern on Wednesday. Should anyone, like Boebert, remove their name from the petition, Massey and Khanna would no longer have the support needed to move their name forward. Under the arcane procedure of a House discharge petition, if 218 members of the House, a majority of all 435 districts, sign on, they can force a floor vote in the chamber on anything, even if leadership opposes it. Such an effort rarely succeeds. So, we'll see what happens with Boebert, but they're really putting the screws to her. I mentioned again that Republicans in the House panicked and dropped 20,000 additional pages of Epstein documents after the email leak. So, this is funny. Democrats whine about releasing the files, but they only cherry pick when they have them to generate clickbait. You deserve the full truth. And so, House Republicans finally released at least 20,000 documents, which is hilarious. But it's like, well, why haven't you been doing that already? Like, what is it about these emails that have you so panicked that you are releasing these documents while at the same time pretending that there's nothing of substance to the emails? Sounds like you can't have it both ways. And of course, as the media pours through these 20,000 pages, we're getting all sorts of information. Quote, I know how dirty Donald is. A stunningly candid Epstein email about Trump gets released by Republicans. Republicans on the House Oversight Committee released a trove of Epstein-related files on Wednesday following the Democrats' release of emails showing Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell discussing Trump. The emails released by the Democrats show Epstein calling Trump, quote, the dog that hasn't barked, and discussing how an alleged victim, quote, spent hours at my house with him. The emails released by the Republicans are also not flattering for Trump, with an exchange including Epstein writing, quote, you see, I know how dirty Donald is. The email, dated to August 23rd, 2018, appears to show Epstein and former Obama White House counsel Kathy Rumler discussing Trump's former fixer, Michael Cohen, flipping on him. The subject line on the email chain reads, quote, New York Times, Donald Trump's high crimes and misdemeanors, and begins with Rumler sharing an article with Epstein. Quote, here's a story from the New York Times that I thought you'd find interesting. The principled case for impeachment is clear. What's missing is the courage, reads Rumler's email. Donald Trump's high crimes and misdemeanors is the title of a August 22nd, 2018 op-ed in the Times by Bret Stephens that included the subhead, quote, the principled case for impeachment is clear. What's missing is the courage. Epstein replied, I think he makes the argument that it was his, Trump's money, making it not illegal, though he also said he only found out afterwards, and the fact, according to the indictment, was billed as services rendered and grossed up. I'm sure his account has flipped anyway. I did talk in detail to Ken Starr, yesterday regarding indictments, how Trump can make a deal, special counsel. Clinton's trash, yes, Starr gave me more. Yuck. And again, the typing on this is brutal. Rumler then responded, quote, it makes no difference whether it was his money, issue his failure to disclose, plus the fact that he's lied his ass off about it makes it clear he knew it was illegal. Epstein replied, quote, you see, I know how dirty Donald is. My guess is that non-lawyers, New York business people have no idea. That means you have to have your fixer flip. The two appeared to be discussing the case around Cohen's hush money payments ahead of the 2016 election to porn star Stormy Daniels and others made on Trump's behalf. Trump was later found guilty in May of 2024 on 34 felony counts of falsifying business documents. So, and again, they provide an excerpt of the email thread right here. So, again, in their desperate bid to try to bury the potentially incriminating emails against Trump, certainly it implicates that Trump had direct knowledge of Epstein's nefarious crimes. They're panicking and releasing all sorts of documents, which also don't really make Trump look particularly good. And then, of course, raises the question, why weren't you releasing these documents along the way? Sure sounds like you're panicking. And, of course, then that emergency meeting at the White House makes it even worse. And before we end for the day, I'm just refreshing the page to see if there's any update on Boebert. See? It doesn't seem like there is anything. Yeah, let's see. Chris Hayes of MSNBC says, call me crazy, but at this point, if the White House did manage to convince Boebert or Mace to pull their name off the discharge petition, it would be an even bigger scandal. Indeed, it would. But we'll see what happens. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.